Just wake me up, just wake me up, don't let me down. Just give me coffee. Just wake me up, just wake me up, just wake me up, horse is cold, just wake me up, just wake me up, don't let me down. Give me coffee. Just wake me up, just wake me up, just wake me up, horse is cold, just let me be blunt. My speech in the morning, nothing but grunts. With no coffee, that's as dangerous. On a scale from 1 to 10, I rank it that girl from Stranger Things. And if you get what I'm saying, my attitude be mad flagrant like I'm Draymond. But you ain't get the picture, BFP. So I'm gonna keep pushing on you, GNC. It's like, yeah, the first thing on my mind is when that hot coffee gonna seep into the coffee grind. It's like some magic's floating all in the air. Toss some ice cubes in my cup, it's a good day. All I gotta say is that it's starting in a good way. It's time for working and I don't even care. Just wake me up, just wake me up, don't let me down. Just give me coffee. Just wake me up, just wake me up, just wake me up, horse is cold, just wake me up, just wake me up, don't let me down. Give me coffee. Just wake me up, just wake me up, just wake me up, horse is cold, start fresh, that's how it's gotta be. Everything starts back with your coffee bean. If it's cold brew, then it's gotta be coarse. Don't get the cart ahead of the horse, start learning the course. But of course you can disregard, and don't at me if it gets too hard. When it's my time to drink, man, it's always on hand. Drink from a cup or a bottle, even a can. You never know when you're craving no hit. It could be in the bathroom while you're taking a Ric Flair, I'll say he ain't got nothing on it. When that coffee hits my lips, it's a seance. Feeling real super with the cape on. Anything I'll take on. This cup of coffee, yeah boy, this is the shit. Just wake me up, just wake me up, don't let me down. Just give me coffee. Just wake me up, just wake me up, just wake me up, horse is cold, just wake me up, just wake me up, don't let me down. Give me coffee. Just wake me up, just wake me up, just wake me up, horse is cold, verse, so I guess that's where I talk about how we might be addicted in a roundabout kind of way, or how you say, a dependency that's in my life, and I'm proud to say it's filling me way more energy than I'll ever need, keeping me up for things I thought I'd never see. Time's gonna kill us all one day, whether old age, illness, or from listening to Coldplay. F that noise, mama.
All of you beautiful nerds from around the world, and welcome to the morning stream here on the Den of Nerds Live. The very best way to start your nerdy day. On today's show, the great debate. Has it finally been settled? Last night, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the series finale. It proved that it's canon to the MCU, except maybe it proved exactly the opposite. I find this debate to be interesting, entertaining, hilarious, maybe meaningless. And we're going to get into that and more today, breaking that down. Plus, Adam from Fanjecture is going to join the show. And I heard a rumor that he's going to be in a certain attire, attempting to, I don't know, I don't want to speculate on what he's attempting to do. We'll have to view it for ourselves. We're going to save time for plenty of Q&A as well. Before we get into all of that, let's say what's up, man. Let's say good morning to the Nerd Vengers. Welcome to Nerd Vengers Tower. Adam from Fanjecture is here. Clearly took the link from the Discord before everybody else got in here. Shouldn't even give him credit. Kendall Davis is here. Crazed Band is here. Bryson's here. Hawks Holocrons is here. Trinity's here. Nerd Vengers Assemble. West Coast Nerd Vengers Throw 'em high. Indeed, man. Care Chief is here. Jason from Polyhedral Paradise is here. Boss Keon, Toilet Room, Renee, Great Baker, Adam G, Awesome 80s, Mr. Deeds, Lord Vito, Danny Orange, Jeffers Morning, David Nations, Jennifer Cook, Enter Jim, Joseph Lennon, Mike, Bav's here, Equals MC, Jared Loveberry, Star Wars Santa, XR Coon, Peter Farrell, Landon Dooms, Will Morgan, Mark Hampton, Jumptown, Sons Games, Codenames, wow! A lot of beautiful people here in the morning. What's up, everybody? Hope you're all doing well. Hope you are all doing well. Let me know. I would like to know, did you watch the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. series finale yesterday? Did you watch it, and what did you think about it? Let us know in the chat right now. And chat, if you could do me a favor, pause that music, man. Show notes! We got to talk about a couple things, okay? Look, first up, epic episode last night of the Nerd Card Showdown. An incredible matchup. One team was eliminated. I'm not going to spoil it for some people that haven't watched the replay. By the way, skip ahead like 10 minutes in that replay. Major technical issues at the start of last night's show. We're working on fixing that. I gave many a lashing to Chet, and we will be figuring that out. But congratulations to the team that won. Again, no spoilers because I know some people catch that on the replay, and so we'll be talking about that more. But there are only 2 teams left. There are only 2 teams left in the Nerd Card Showdown. We are heading to crown the champion team of the very first season of the Nerd Card Showdown, and that's pretty exciting stuff. Also, later tonight, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Lavis and Al taking you guys for a ride on the Den of Nerds After Dark show. They've done a lot of cool work on the show. I'm very excited for everybody to see what is going on tonight on After Dark. That is a members-only show for now. For now, it is a members-only show, and I believe they're going to be hanging out with Captain Pennsylvania tonight. And Captain Pennsylvania, if you're in here, I believe it is your birthday. And if that is true, happy birthday, my friend. Also, tomorrow night, I believe, Bosch, if you're in here, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe we are doing another watch. There's 3 teams? What? Did I screw that up? I thought there was 2 teams and one needed double a limb. Am I wrong? Hey, okay, well, ignore everything I just said. Okay, look, tomorrow, we are doing a watch party, Netflix watch party. Bashti is going to be heading that up. I don't know if she has a co-host for that tomorrow. I'm everywhere. Nice. I don't know if she has a co-host for that tomorrow or not. She might just be running solo, hanging out with you guys. That is, again, a Nerd Vengers only thing. And I just want to say, too, before we get into the spicy stuff, Josh is fired? Yeah, dude, I've been fired a couple times. Look, Saturday, I'm taking you guys on a tour. If you are a Nerd Vengers member, there's been a lot of construction in the Nerd Vengers Tower. I'm going to take the Nerd Vengers member on Saturday, and we're going to take a tour of the Nerd Vengers Tower, all the new facilities, the gift shop, some of the other things that we have going on. I don't want to tease too much out, but be there Saturday at noon if you are a Nerd Vengers member. It is going to be spicy. And then Sunday, Sly and I, wow, teaming up, dude. Teaming up like Tekken Tag or something, some other crazy game where 2 players work together for flawless victory. That will be Sly and myself on Sunday talking about graphics, branding, etc., etc. Be there if you can. It's going to be very exciting. Okay, now look. Let's get into the dealy-dallies. Let's talk about all the dealy-dallies. Audio, welcome to the Nerd Vengers, baby. It's a pleasure to have you, my friend. It is a pleasure to have you here. Okay, look. We got to talk. And I'm going to look at the chat now. I want to see if you guys watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. last night. Let's check this out. I want to see. Stay on target. Right on. No, is there 3 teams, really? Did I screw it up? I'm going to blame Chet on that one as well. Okay, look, did not see it. I did not watch it, but stopped watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. a while ago. Just finished Umbrella Academy. Yeah, Jarrett, that shit is bad ass. Someone said yes. If you're not doing well, I hope you're doing often. Right on. I have a new Nerd Vengers badge. Cool. Oh, rock and roll, Freeman. Yeah. So the badges get cooler the longer you've been a member. So you have the 2-month badge. Next month, I think everyone will get their green badge. Then I think it's like 6 months, a year, and 2 years. Or a year. I have to double check. But whatever the top tier one is, you get a diamond. A diamond badge. And we're going to make sure it looks real good. We're going to make sure it looks real good. Because the diamond tier Nerd Vengers members, whew, it's just going to be real cool. So, I don't know how many people actually watched the show last night. Okay. Let me try to explain this in the best way that I can. Okay. So, thought the series finale was pretty freaking good. Not perfect, but good. Right on. Right on. Okay, look. Let me try to lay it out there for you, because I want to set the stage. I want to set the table. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. For a long time, this debate has gone on in the fandom. Is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. canon to the MCU or not? Many people have told me over the years it is canon to the MCU. As time went along, as Mr. Kevin Feige got more and more control, I saw less and less crossover. And to me, it seemed like it was canon in a sense, but it's really a one-way street. It's like the show's going to reference things from the movies, occasionally have people on from the movies, but nobody from just the show ever showed up in a movie, and I highly doubt they will be showing up in any Disney Plus show. Let's get this right out of the way, too. Lucas says, did you watch it, Josh? I think it is completely inappropriate and irresponsible to speak on something that you have not personally watched. Except in this instance, because that show to me is ass. So no, I didn't watch it. Okay, look. I don't want to trigger anybody, but if you're an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fan, buckle up. Because you're about to get triggered quite a bit. Now look. I think the debate always was, of course, it's connected. Sam Jackson's in it. Sam Jackson. You know? Sam Jackson. And I don't know why I'm saying it like that, but I'm kind of addicted to it now. Sam Jackson. You know? Nick Fury, of course. So my understanding of the finale, and by the way, like again, I didn't watch it. Who would watch that shit? Okay, look. My understanding of the finale is that Fitz and Simmons, which, by the way, did you guys know that is actually one character in the comics? It's a character called Fitzsimmons, and they split it up and made it 2 characters. So, my understanding of this is that Fitz uses the quantum realm in the finale to go back in time and to bring people back, and that means it's connected to the MCU, okay? And the logic here, at least from what I'm seeing out there from people, is that this means it's canon to the MCU because it's in a branch timeline connected to the multiverse within the MCU. Okay. So, here's the thing. From what I understand, even the new branch timeline that the whole gang goes to after this Fitz things, the snap still didn't happen, right? And so the show never addresses the snap. I think maybe one time from what I heard, they said the word Thanos. They said Thanos, it's canon. They said Thanos, it's canon. So apparently they completely ignore the snap. And yeah, like Greg's on it. He says, which means, drum roll, everything Marvel has ever done is canon. Yeah, Bryson says, wow, that's such a weak connection. Agreed. So look, here's the thing, guys. Quantum Realm was used to return to the original timeline, but see, it's not the original timeline. Maybe it's the original timeline in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. timeline, their show, or universe, or whatever. But, like, that's like saying, because the Quantum Realm could connect technically anything, that technically anything is connected to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Fitz and Simmons are two different people in the comics. Yeah, retroactively after the show came out, there was an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. run done where they did create two separate characters. But no, there's one character named Fitzsimmons. Don't test me, Devante Smith. Don't test me. And so, the idea here is that because it could technically exist within a multiverse that's somehow connected to the MCU over here, that it's canon. Here's my problem with that. I mean, first of all, it's weak, right? Weak. But second of all, it doesn't explain the bigger issue, the thing that we all know is going on. Like, clearly, when the show started, Feige had less control. Feige had less power at Marvel, okay? And so the show was designed to connect to the MCU because Marvel Television, and this was probably Ike Perlmutter, and this was probably, what's the dude's name that hates Asian people? What's that dude's name? Jeff Loeb. And Jeff Loeb, these people wanted you to think that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was connected to the MCU. Just like the Netflix shows. Just like Sony. But you know the difference? And now we're really about to trigger some people. Ooh, get ready. Get ready. Oh, right. Allegedly. Okay, yeah. Allegedly he hates Asian people. Okay. The lawyers called? Bro, the lawyers did call. By the way, total side note here, and also just ADD Josh, look out for a video later today on the channel, on the main Den of Nerds channel, breaking down the Ray Fisher thing, and that shit's gonna get juicy. The lawyers did call, but they called about that. They're not calling about this. Everybody knows Jeff Loeb hates Asian people. Now look. And don't worry, we'll get into the chat. I know everybody's getting triggered. We'll talk it out. We'll hug it out after this, okay? Everybody relax. Or don't. Sony has more of a claim if they can get Tom Holland. Caveat. If they can get Tom Holland in some of those movies and then have him also be in MCU movies, they technically have more of a claim, depending on what goes on in the stories, to be considered canon. Okay? Like, Daredevil mentions the incident at the Battle of New York, right? But you'll never see those characters in the MCU. In fact, they'll probably recast. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in no way is canon to the MCU. If anything, they figured out a way diegetically to actually separate it from the canon of the MCU. Right? It's like saying like this. Here's what's you know what? What's really crazy? Let's just say in this alternate timeline, the alternate timeline of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., that makes it canon, and there are Avengers in that timeline. Well, here's my question. Why is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., even in its own universe, considered a second-class citizen? Where are the Avengers? Where are the other MCU things? They're not there. They're not there. Feige wants nothing to do with it. Feige wants nothing to do with it. He's probably gonna make another Quake. He's probably making all new Inhumans. You know? So I saw this thing, and look, I really like Jeremy Conrad. I think he does great work. But he tweeted this thing out right before the show where he was like, it's going to be really hard for Marvel fans to try to say that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. isn't MCU canon after tonight. And I'm thinking, whoa, you know, like, holy shit, better keep an eye out on that one. What's going to happen? The snap is happening. Whoa, Iron Man's going to show up? Are they going to talk about how Iron Man's gone? Are they going to integrate? Is Chloe Bennett going to show up in MCU films now? And, like, everything I saw and everything that's coming out about it, if anything, it proves even more that this show is not canon. It's not canon, guys. Like, I don't know what else to say. Like, how? How? All right, let's calm down. Let's huddle up. Let's talk it out. Well, you didn't watch the show, so you don't know. Can you explain what I missed from the show that makes it so that it is canon? It's like if a tree falls in the woods and nobody hears it, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is not canon to the MCU. Do you understand? Are you paying the movie stars' salaries? Absolutely. I believe they separated, but Feige didn't have that power prior to the takeover. Yeah, no, that's absolutely true. Yeah, Feige's gonna be like, what the fuck is that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. stuff? 100%, dude. Isn't the whole part that they are rogue? What about the time that Jamie Alexander's Lady Sif was on the show? I remember that. And to be honest with you, like, I feel like I got a little into the hype about that, but, like, that appearance, she was, like, on Earth, but she doesn't even remember she's Asgardian and shit. I remember, because that's when I was still watching the show. But to be honest with you, dude, that was so weak, dude. That was so weak. So watered down. It was horrible. And, like, in my mind, I'm, like, sitting there, I'm like, wait a minute. Lady Sif? Lady Sif's who you get. Lady Sif. That's your move to prove canon? Lady Sif? Cool. Well done. Greg says, I agree. Finale proved that show is not canon. They tried to have this big push to make it true canon at the beginning of the show by having Nick Fury show up, but it really seems like they gave up on that around season 3. Yeah, I'd agree. Uh-oh. Daniel's raging. Daniel's raging. The Executioner was on S.H.I.E.L.D., wasn't he? I don't know who you're talking about. They built the helicarrier for Age of Ultron. Did they really? First, that DBZ guy says, first of all, don't disrespect Lady Sif. I would never disrespect Lady Sif. I would never do that. Anyway, Lady Sif hasn't been in the MCU since she appeared on the show. I don't know if that's true. Wasn't she in, was she not in Ragnarok? Was she really not in Ragnarok? So if Sony starts using Spidey and none of the other MCU characters show... First of all, MCU characters already have shown up. Did you miss the Morbius trailer? So if Sony starts using Spider-Man and none of the other MCU characters show up in the movies, are they canon to the MCU? What I'm saying is they have more of a claim to canon than Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. 100%. Lady Sif will be back in Thor 4, confirmed already. Blazing Ocean, is that 100? Is that a buck? Are you keeping it a buck with me right now? Scheduling conflict for Ragnarok. Interesting. Let me ask you this. Was Lady Sif in the finale? I mean, they should have rolled out the red carpet and got, big time draw Lady Sif to be in the finale. You know what I mean? If they really wanted to blow everyone's minds. Look, in all seriousness, we're memeing, we're having fun, we're joking around. But here's the thing. If you really love Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and you're super happy about how the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. series went, and you're like, man, that was a great ending, and you want to say that to you, it is canon. That to you, this branch timeline that had zero impact and influence on what happened in the MCU and is completely isolated and has nothing to do with actual canon as far as cause and effect is concerned. If you want to believe that and hold on to that, and it makes your enjoyment of the show better or higher or whatever, as they say in England, Bob's your uncle. Do your thing. I feel you. Cool. Rock and roll, man. But from a actual business sense perspective, what Feige is doing, I mean, guys, no. So is the real argument that the multiverse is canon? But look, the multiverse is completely canon, and you could draw a line from a branch timeline on that show to the MCU. And I heard people saying online, I went into this, that maybe before season 4 or season 4 and beyond, it wasn't canon. It's in its own branch timeline or anything like that. But my whole thing is that's just absurd. I think what people are really, I just would hate for people to be getting their hopes up as far as Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is canon. I can't wait to see Chloe Bennett in the MCU. The odds on that, very low. I mean, for God's sakes, Greg Clark wasn't in Endgame. Agent Coulson was never brought back into the MCU. Why wasn't he in Endgame? Anybody got a explanation? Okay, pause the music. You know whose opinion I really want on this? Adam from Fanjecture. That's who I want to talk to about this. Let's give him a call. See if we can get him on the line. Hello, Adam? Hello? Hello? Adam? Adam, hello? Oh, hello? My mother of God. All right, I guess I got to get... You did all this work. I better get your video on the screen. What did I do in a past life to deserve this? Or maybe it was. Maybe it wasn't even a past life. Maybe it's this life.
It's totally this life.
All right. Well, I guess Adam couldn't answer, and so we've got Grace here.
Hi, Josh. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing really well. Grace, quick question. What's your take on the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. canon debate?
Well, I have an exclusive scoop drop right now.
Oh, shit.
I have a source that says Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. is not canon because the whole show takes place in a fever dream of Coulson when he's dead, dying on the floor from the first Avengers film.
Holy shit. Was that the ending? Was that in the finale?
I don't know. I've never seen the show. I'm more of a DC girl, you know?
Yeah. Well, you used to work at Marvel, and a lot of people think that because you were more or less fired that you kind of still hold a grudge against Marvel. What do you think about that, Grace?
Yeah, I hate everybody except for you, Josh. I heard you've been talking about me.
Yeah, no, only in the professional sense, of course, but yeah, no, I've been talking about you. So let me ask you this too. I mean, I've heard some crazy things about the Ray Fisher situation, and you know, I've heard, you know, you're obviously an insider and all that. I mean, what's your take on that whole situation?
Oh, I don't know, man. I don't know if I want to touch that with a 30-foot pole. You know what I'm saying, Joshy Poo?
Oh, jeez, Joshy Poo. Woo, getting hot in here. Yeah, no. Well, Grace. I'm
I don't know. I gotta go. I just wanted to say hi real quick.
No, I'm glad that you did.
My friend Adam told me you were talking about me, so I just wanted to stop by and say hi and wish you luck. And I'm watching your channel, so have fun, Josh. Gotta go.
Thanks. DMs are open, by the way. Get at me.
Good to know. Thanks, Joshy Poo.
Oh, so welcome. All right. Well, let's see if we can actually get Adam on the line now. Adam, are you there?
Oh, hey. Oh.
Whoops.
Yo, I think your thing's like stuck or something. Like it's stuck on Grace's face for me on the stream still.
I did it. All right, hold on. Let me.
It could be on my end. Let me see if I can fix it up. Very impressive. Very impressive work. Let's see here. Maybe I can do that.
I don't know what work you're talking about. I just got here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, yeah, of course. Yeah, thanks for all that coolness when it comes to that. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I'm having so many Streamlabs issues, to be honest with you. So I'm just gonna go probably with my camera for a second, and maybe I'll try to fix it.
No one needs to see my face. You can just hear my voice.
Yeah, and I wish they didn't have to see my face too. What's your take on the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. thing, dude? I just found it to be so hilarious. Like, and again, I like Conrad. You know what I mean? Like I do. But so he tweets that thing out, dude.
Yeah.
And like, what the fuck was he thinking? Like, how did you see it? Did you watch the show?
I haven't seen this show since season 1, if I'm being super honest. I tried. Like, honestly, like I think we all tried in season 1, and I don't know, man. It was so bad. It was so bad. Now I know a lot of people have said that it gets better, and that's fine. Like it could definitely get better. I have one of my really good friends watches the show religiously. Most of the time he hate watches it, but he does watch it. And he even told me that it got better. I just never went back to it. Is it canon? Look, I don't think they're ever going to reference it in a movie, ever. So does it really matter if it's canon if they never address it ever again? Like that's what I'm wondering. Like, do people really need to hold on so tight that it's canon, even though no future movie will ever reference it?
Yeah, it's just silly. Like, look, I get it, but like, look, what I'm looking for when I hear someone say it's gonna be hard for people to say it's not canon after tonight, what I'm looking for, believe it or not, Adam, is like what is making it hard.
Flesh.
Snuck up on me. Okay. Thank you, by the way.
Tower's shaking. The tower's shaking.
The tower is shaking. Holy shit. Yeah, like, I just don't get it. Like, is the branch, like, using the quantum realm to connect it via the multiverse, I suppose is one way to do it. But what I was thinking is, after they get out of that or whatever, they come into a world where the Avengers just beat Thanos, Tony's gone, Cap's gone, and like they're addressing that kind of shit. That's what I'm looking for. By the way, the craziest connection that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I know I'm like clowning on the show or whatever, but the thing that I thought was brilliant, because I used to be in this show's corner hardcore, Adam. Like, when the first episode aired, I was in college, and I didn't actually have ABC, like, in my dorm, and so I literally went to the college bar and went with a lady friend and was watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in a bar, and the bartender and I were so tight that the bartender was like, yeah, I'll put on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for you, whatever, and we can put you by the TV or whatnot. And I remember, like, her just looking at me afterwards, and she was trying to be nice about it, but I could tell she was like, what the fuck is wrong with this dude? Like, we just went to a bar to watch. Little did she know I would build the Nerd Vengers Tower later. Who's laughing now, bitch? Anyway. Whoa. But, man, the coolest thing about the show was when Captain America Winter Soldier happened and the Hydra shit happened, and then it literally happened on the show. Like, that was really cool. And at first I was thinking, wow, this is mind-blowing. Like, they started a show called Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Marvel must have known that S.H.I.E.L.D. was Hydra. The show's technically Agents of Hydra now. That's so cool. I was like, yo, this is awesome. And it just didn't it didn't take that ball and run with it. It just flobbed around, floundered, really, really whack stuff. I felt like the Inhuman stuff was so whack. It was so light. You know what I mean? And like, I don't know. That's just my opinion, man. But yeah.
I don't know. It's fine. Like I don't care if people enjoy it. And call it canon. It doesn't matter. Like why are people so obsessed with canon? Honestly, can you explain that to me?
Well, yeah. I mean, particularly with the MCU, I think the reason that people like the canon so much is because it actually matters. So one of the things that the MCU has absolutely nailed is the fact that things that you watch affect other things that you watch, right?
Okay, sure. But can I just interject real quick?
Yeah.
So what's going to happen when What If comes out? Are people not going to be able to enjoy that? Because that's not going to be canon.
Yeah, but it's up front, right? And the other thing is there's rumors, and I don't know how true this will end up being, but there are rumors that what if some of that stuff will be actually explored in Doctor Strange 2. And so this is going into a Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. situation here, but I'll explain the big difference. So some of these things, like the zombie universe in What If, the universe in which Peggy becomes Captain America, all of these different things, apparently we will actually see some of those universes in Doctor Strange 2 in the Multiverse of Madness, meaning, or possibly in Loki too, I've heard that as well. So it's not just that it exists and we're going to say it's a part of the multiverse, but you're actually going to see it in other projects that have to do with the multiverse. That's the rumor. Now, if that doesn't actually happen, then you're absolutely right. Like, What If is more or less just What If flavor, and I think that on its face value, it's just anticipated because we're just interested to see different takes on the MCU movies, right? So, I don't know. That's sort of my explanation. But I think the canon thing is really funny. It is funny how many people actually really, really care about it. And, like, one of the things in Dragon Ball that's really funny is, like, Dragon Ball's canon is, like, horrible. Like, trying to figure out Dragon Ball's canon is, like, you're going to beat yourself up about it. Like, Geekdom 101, like, constantly says in, like, videos and shit that, like, there is no canon. Like, you can't break down canon with Dragon Ball because Toriyama just forgets about characters. They just change things on the fly. Characters go through the same story arc multiple times, stuff like that. So.
Yeah, I mean, look, I get the whole idea of like you want everything to connect. I'm not discounting that at all. Like I love that too. But if I get a standalone story that's not connected to anything, like that doesn't bother to me. That doesn't bother me. Like I don't know. Your chat's hilarious today, by the way.
Yeah.
Somebody asked, well, what's the point if you're not telling a story that's connected. And I totally get that side, and I'm not discounting that. There is extreme value to having everything connected because you feel like you're watching something that has merit to everything else that you've watched before. My point is that it doesn't have to always be that. Like I can enjoy something that is on its own without having to be connected to anything.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that sort of gets into a more interesting conversation. It's like, who does it matter more to? It almost feels like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., it's like not good enough to just like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., right? It almost feels like they're trying to get people to check it out or to have their opinions validated because it's a part of the MCU, right? So, look, I'm just going to be real, and if you like the show, if you're taking enjoyment of it, like, that's awesome, and I would never want to take away your enjoyment of that. But I just got to be real. I think this show is lame, and I think that the thing is the show's not good enough just of its own volition to be considered, like, really cool and hyped, and so, therefore, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fans are adamant that it's a part of the MCU. Therefore, it's a little bit cooler, just base, and also, you should be checking it out. What do you think? Am I way off base? How many subscribers are we losing right now?
No, none. And luckily, your downvotes aren't rising to the top. So I think you're okay.
Rock and roll, baby, rock and roll. But yeah, that's it. Godfather's in here. All right, let's change topics real quick. Godfather is like, look, if Godfather had his way, we would be making videos. And maybe, you know what? Challenge to you, Godfather. The gauntlet has been laid down. If you want to do a video where you're explaining why I'm wrong and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is canon, do the video. I'll edit it, and we'll put it on the main channel, and we'll let the people decide. But you've got to make the video, and it's got to be fire content, Godfather. Otherwise, the Den of Nerds says that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. isn't canon. Terrible. Hey, look, they can't all be bangers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, Adam, a couple other things have been going on in the nerdy world, man. What's most interesting to you? I kind of wanted to talk to you about the DC layoffs a little bit and all that.
Yeah, we could talk about that if you want to.
Yeah, what do you think?
I think you made some great points talking about it. Where a lot of this is just business, and a lot of not just DC and DC Comics and everything, but a lot of industry are going to start dropping this stuff. And you made a good point too, where you're like, don't forget, Marvel is probably going to drop the shoe or drop the hammer in just like this, and we'll see if people start getting upset about that as well. I think the most surprising part was the comics end. I think I didn't know that they were in that dire strait. To be honest, but the writing was on the wall for DC Universe, so I don't know why that shocked anybody. And a lot of people lost their jobs, but I got to imagine at least the DC Universe people had already been searching for new jobs. I mean, we've known for a while, and there's been articles and trades and everybody discussing about DC Universe getting folded into HBO. I sort of expected them to fold the jobs as well. So that was a little shocking that they didn't do that. It's sad overall, but it's not really unexpected, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I mean, dude, so Disney's kind of already done this, though, a little bit. They've, like, quietly been kind of doing this over time. And, yeah, I mean, like, dude, look, it sucks. Like, obviously, like, almost 1,000 people. Like, some people told me it was, like, over 1,000. I know it's being reported as 800, but some people told me, they were like, nah, bro, it's over 1,000. Oh, you know what? I got to turn my gains up. Dude, last night, right before Nerd Card Showdown, for no reason whatsoever, dude, my main microphone source on all of my scenes just disappears on Streamlabs.
Yeah, I saw. It was
and then on top of that, all the window captures that I did,
disappeared.
Like,
You were in another dimension. What can I
was in
say?
another dimension for sure. I was in the fucking rage dimension, dude. I was raging out, and I'm trying to keep it together and shit for the show, but man, I was raging out. All right, that's some good gains right there. Thank you, Chet. Appreciate the love. All right, so yeah, so a couple of things when it comes to this.
Yeah.
Did you hear? And I'm actually gonna do a video about this later. Did you hear about the quote that I think it was Sci-Fi grabbed about that situation?
No, lay it on me.
Let me see if I can find it. I'll go to the
Sci-Fi the channel.
Yes, but it's really Sci-Fi. I guess they do editorials on the website.
I didn't know that.
Let me see if I can find it here. Essentially, it was something that it's funny. It's something that Grace had said, and then it was something that I talked about briefly in the video that we covered it. But now I have to do another video about it because, unfortunately, with the report from Sci-Fi and some of the other things that I'm hearing, like, dude, this is bad. Like, this is really bad. Man, I'm gonna continue to try to find it. But the deal was, what was said was essentially that AT&T
is it this one?
What AT&T is not interested in comic books. Is that what you're talking about? Oh, sorry, I cannot see. I can't see what you're looking at. But
okay.
Yeah, let me know what you're looking at. But yeah, it was essentially like
I sent it to you in Discord. It says, "What does the new DC implosion mean for the comics publishers?" Is that one?
Sci-Fi Wire. Yep, that's the one.
All right, I sent it to you on Discord.
Thanks. Yeah, so this is wild, dude. Like, where's the where's the exact quote in here? It's like it's really scary when you think about what this means. Okay, check this out. This is scary. Simply put, quote, Warner Media doesn't want to be in the comics business. It wants to be in the character business. Another source with knowledge of Warner Bros. Operations tells me that same source contends that the company may have no longer wanted DC and its comics to be the driving force behind entities that are so important to Warner Brothers franchising and licensing goals. Moving forward, both sources believe comics will be just a small part of the necessary intellectual property maintenance needed to keep corporate cash cows like Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman humming along. So what this possibly means is AT&T values this IP, but in no way values the comic book writers, the comic book industry, and the comic book readers. I mean, maybe the readers a little bit insofar as they will go sign up for, whatever and watch the show. But it essentially means that the corporate overlords are here, and they are no longer interested in pulling from source material. They are only interested in taking the IP and creating mass appeal content that hits all four quadrants and brings in as much revenue as is humanly possible. Adam, your thoughts?
Well, okay. I'm not a big fan of the idea of not contributing to making good books. Okay. But everything else, I gotta admit, that's just business. The comics as a whole aren't really making a whole ton of money.
Right.
And it's not to say that they're not making any money, but as far as the ledger goes for a business like Warner Brothers and Warner Media, comics is a very, very, very small percentage of it. And it's sort of like, well, why are we putting so much time and effort into something that's not, going to generate a high income for us? And that's sad. And but I take it from somebody like me. Okay. I am a big comic book character fan, right? Mm-hmm. I am not necessarily a comic book reader, but I like all the ancillary materials, like the television shows, like the movies, all sorts of stuff like that. So they're targeting somebody like me, and maybe that says something about what's happening more socially. Is that where people aren't gravitating towards comic books. So for me, not having big, continuing comic material, I'll be honest, it doesn't really affect me. Now, will it affect the sense that maybe we're going to start getting super generic stuff? I would hate for that to happen. But as far as the comic books go, I don't. It's not going to change my world if they don't make good comic books. I got to be honest.
Yeah, dude, it's wild. Like, my head goes into so many different thoughts about this. Like, it's like, so on the one hand, like, okay, so I really like comics. I used to work in comics. I write comics. I'm still writing comics. It's frustrating because the medium is brilliant, and there are things you can do in comics that you just can't do in other mediums. And I look at comics as such an opportunity. But the problem is the people at the tippity top of comic books, and I'm talking about the biggest writers, the biggest editors, the biggest publishers, they have literally been operating in almost brain-dead ways for like a decade. How the fuck did they expect this industry to just keep moving along at the pace that it's going? And my projection on what's going to happen, dude, it's going to be devastating for a lot of people in the comic book industry. A lot of people. Like, shedding of editors, big-time writers, big-time artists that can no longer get premium page rates. They are going to shed so much of this fat. I bet DC will probably go down to like 10 or less books a month. 10 or less books a month. Marvel will probably do the same. And that's going to be devastating, because what that's going to mean is that essentially, I would say 60% of comic book shops, well, look, maybe not 60% of comic book shops. All of the comic book shops that really wanted to rely on comic book sales as the majority of how they make their income, over. Done.
Yeah.
Just
you definitely need a hybrid. Like, there's a huge one in Philly, which I'm sure. I don't know if you've been to, because
I've not only been to, I've done business with them. Yes.
Well, no, then no, we're not thinking of the same one. I'm thinking of one called Amalgam Comics. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, no, Amalgam. I've done business with Amalgam too. Yeah, Amalgam is an interesting case though, because you're probably going to get into this, but the coffee shop hybrid thing that they did.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's like they don't just concentrate on the comics. They make it an experience coming in. You can sit, you can get coffee, you can sit and read. They do like nights where they have a guest on, and they have lectures about the industry and all sorts of stuff. So comics is part of it, but it's not the sole driving force. And you're right. If they don't adapt to that kind of stuff, they are going to fail.
Yeah, they're just going to disappear. And it's a tough one, man. Leonard is coming in with a super chat. Thank you for the love. Says, do you envision a world at DC where comics are replaced with more TV miniseries and one-off movies for these stories? Yeah, 100%, dude. 100%, Leonard. I think that there's a couple of different things that are going on. If you're a big company and you want to adapt or pull out from a great comic book story, there's all this like royalty stuff. It's a lot of legalese. You got to pay the artist that created the story. You got to potentially pay the artist that created the character, et cetera, which, by the way, this was a huge problem in comics in general. And look, comics, just like many other industries, is a tale of really, really greedy suits that took advantage in a lot of ways of different creators, different writers. I mean, what happened to... I remember hearing a story, and I forget if it was Simon or Schuster, but it was one of the dudes that created Superman. And it was when Superman went on Broadway. And Superman on Broadway was a huge deal. It was a huge deal. It was blowing up. It was in the papers. It was on the TV screens. It was on your radios. And this dude was so destitute that he couldn't even afford a ticket to go see Superman on Broadway. The kid that created the character was so destitute and taken advantage of by DC that he couldn't even afford a ticket to see the Broadway play of the character that he created.
Yeah.
And that's just only one story. You go back to like Danny O'Neill breaking in rights for the artists, making sure that they could get their art back. We used to live in a world where DC and Marvel would take the art from the artists, the originals, and keep it themselves or destroy it. And the artist had no claim on that as intellectual property. Couldn't sell it, couldn't license it, couldn't do anything to it. And Danny O'Neill and some other people fought a good fight to get more rights over for the workers.
Yeah.
And so, like, comics has this long history of being just like other industries, but greedy, out of touch, and slow as fuck. It's a dinosaur. It doesn't know how to adjust. And the last 15 to 20 years just shows that this industry was not actually interested in evolving and reaching new readers and in growing, and instead just wanted to suck its fan base, its current fan base, completely dry. And now they're paying the price. And by they, it's not even the same days, dude. It's like good people that didn't engage in that behavior are going to pay the price for decisions executive made for like 10, 15 years.
Yeah. Can I play devil's advocate for a second, though?
Of course. I would love it if you played some devil's advocate.
So let's imagine, like, let's be honest. You have 100 and plus people watching right now.
Yeah.
You don't have to say in the chat, people, but to yourselves, and think honestly. It might be skewed for this audience, though. How many of you actually read comics on a regular basis? Actually go and purchase comics? I got to imagine it's less than 50% in this. So I think part of the reason why I'll say normies in general, why they don't get into the comics more, and Trinity I know rails about this all the time, is that sometimes it's just too convoluted for people to jump in and just find a starting point. And with all these like events and all these crossovers, sometimes it can feel overwhelming for people to like just start to jump into the comics world. So they just don't. So devil's advocate, it's possible that by making the amount of books available smaller, that it might actually entice people to be able to jump on board because there's less things for them to kind of catch up on and read. And they can start with maybe one or two books and don't feel so overwhelmed by everything out there for their favorite characters. I don't know. Just a thought.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's perfectly reasonable. You know, some people point to the death of Superman in the 90s as the beginning of the end for comics, because what happened was they realized they could make headlines and like mainstream media headlines by doing something as ridiculous as killing Superman. It was a massive deal. And so then you saw people in comics, particularly in editorial and stuff, try to get headlines and try to get notoriety. And they started to realize, too, that, like, you know, revamps, reboots, new number ones, these things bring in new readers. But the problem was, like, there was no real, like, you're absolutely right. Like, comic books canon, especially, like, at Marvel, was a big deal. It was a big part of the flavor. It was important. But it also led to inevitably massive problems because you didn't have a clean jumping on point. And I think that is 100% a problem. And there were a lot of like little problems. But here's the thing. You just explained that like people don't go buy comics. And that's true. But I don't think that's on people at all. That's on the industry. Like the industry never gave you a good reason. And the thing that I think is like hilarious about it is that in a world where all kinds of entertainment was like growing around the comic book industry and things are just getting crazier, more accessible, more democratized, less monetized, like the whole world is changing around comics, and comics did nothing but do more of the same, upgrade their prices, and try to play games at getting headlines to bring people in instead of actually try to evolve the medium itself. And so I don't blame people for not reading comics. I mean, for God's sakes, I love comics. I'm like 2 or 3 weeks behind on stuff, and like when I read, like when I read that some of the new Marvel stuff, and look, the X-Men stuff is good, but dude, some of these books, like I read some of the Fantastic Four tie-in to Empire. I like almost demand my money back. Like there is no universe where that is worth $5. No universe.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You know what I also think hurt DC specifically? I think Rebirth really hurt because I think they had something going with New 52, and whether or not you liked it or not, they made a pretty hard line in the sand. Like, this is it. This is the we're redoing it all. We're starting over. Here's New 52. And then for like a good 7-8 years, like, people were, or maybe it was less, maybe it was only 6 years. People were like, okay, this is it. This is what we're doing. And then you less than 10 years later, you start over again. Like that turned a lot of people off. And when they constantly like starting over again, you're gonna turn people away from like even wanting to like go buy and start collecting these stories, because they're gonna feel like at any moment the shoe's gonna drop, and then none of this is gonna matter again.
Yeah, I don't see, like the thing is like my view of Rebirth was that initially it was like huge and people loved it, and a lot of the Rebirth stuff I thought was enjoyable and people were into. I actually think where they kind of screwed up was, particularly with Superman, post Rebirth, things were actually like kind of getting back on track, and then they signed Brian Michael Bendis, and they're just like, well, all that stuff's over. We're just handing it to Bendis now. You know what I mean? Right. So I feel like that was sort of a problem. But I mean, I think you're right in the sense that like the New 52 was really, I think, a huge problem. Because New 52 came out, and again, initially, people are really excited about it. And then it's like, it's just not good, dude. Like, a lot of it's just not good and really fluffy. And the thing is, nobody wanted to address the real problems. I think the biggest problem that comic books have had for a very, 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 very long time is that there's all these disincentives within the industry to do things that would actually engage fans. So, like, for instance, why are there not a lot of new heroes coming out? Like, everybody's like, well, why did they make Jane Foster Thor? Why can't they just make a new character that's female Thor? And partially this is because of name recognition, but mostly this is because no writer is going to create a new character when, if they do not own the rights to that character. So they changed how that works contractually. I believe it was in the late 90s. And you can, if you create a new character and you're making a Marvel book, Marvel owns that character. You do not. So they stifled creativity because they didn't want to pay people and give people like money for that. There's also like the fact that the issues would be great on a number 1 and then get really lazy. And get super lazy. And this is an editorial problem and also a writer's problem, where the model they're trying to get to is to just have these stories be way too spread out. And they just want to like keep people reading. And then, hey, if it's not connecting anymore, we'll cancel it. We'll do a new number 1. Like that kind of model stifles creativity. And it's like,
and the cost doesn't help either.
No.
They're too expensive.
They're
way
too expensive.
I get why they're the price that they are, but they're too expensive.
Way too expensive.
So I don't know. You're right. They're not doing themselves any favors for sure. And that's why I like Trinity. When he really lately, he's been really talking about independent comics, and a lot of the independent stuff that he brings out looks so cool, looks so great. The art is great. The stories that he's explaining in them they sound so fun and interesting. And I don't know. Hopefully, we see a rise of that. I guess time will tell.
Well, yeah. To speak to that for just a second, I actually think that's one of the positive things that could come out of this. Is like, so basically, like you're gonna lose a lot of big name people, and you're gonna lose a lot of Like, I think, honestly, it's going to be really bad for comics. I think a lot of people that wanted to make it in comics, their dream was to be a comic book person, they need to reevaluate. And they're not going to be doing it anymore. But I believe that some really big creatives and some really creative people are going to go over and make great comics that have nothing to do with the big two. You know, and some people will tell you that like Comicsgate is doing this, and I've been told there are some great Comicsgate books. I haven't really read any of them, so I'm not sure. But it's possible it's happening over there. It's also possible a lot of the stuff that Trin talks about, it's happening over there. I think Tom Bilyeu and what they're doing over there is really, really interesting. Some people are saying like webtoons is the future, but I think that really what's happening is this industry is going to be completely reshaped. But it is possible that like the Phoenix, out of the ashes, and it's absolutely going to be ashes. Out of the ashes, we might forge into like a whole new world of comics that could actually be like awesome. And maybe that could then be the reason people are reading comics, right? Because like right now, like DC's going to be putting Batman everywhere, Superman everywhere. You don't need to go read comics to get that fix. You don't.
Yeah.
And same thing with Marvel. You don't need to read the comics to get that fix, but maybe there'll be something out there that you can only read in comic book form. And manga, interestingly, manga and anime have not had these problems. And I'm interested to see how many comic book writers adapt some of the things that like manga and Korean manga, which is like blowing up right now and like super big on the rise. How many American writers and artists and creatives are going to look at what's happening in manga and try to adapt that? And maybe they'll change the form while all the dinosaurs just complain. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a cultural thing too, because it's all about reading, right? Look, and I'm not saying that like people don't read in the United States. That's not my point. But like the percentage of people that read casually and for fun and for pleasure, certainly, and I'm sure you can agree with this, certainly has decreased in percentage the amount of people that actually do it.
Yeah.
Not close to zero. I'm not suggesting that, but it's definitely lower. People are more likely to want to watch something than read something nowadays. And that's a cultural thing. And maybe that's some of the new generations coming up. And they're more likely to do that. So yeah, it's gotta be, the comics have to be more digital. And I know that sucks. And I know people don't want to hear that, but it has to.
100%. Like what's your option? Like, you know what I mean? Like you don't have an option. I mean, first, yeah. So I think it absolutely needs to be digital. In fact, like the dude that I'm working on the Star Wars fan fiction from, like the last time we spoke, which was a week or two ago now, we both were on the same page. We're like, it's webtoons, dude. It's webtoons. That's what we're doing. Yeah. We're doing webtoons. Like there's no reason not to do webtoons with that. And I think that really is a nice little spot to exist in, and you can get that flavor and that going on there. I do think it's a little bit of a cultural thing, but believe it or not, there's a lot of fans of manga in the West, like a lot of fans. And I would venture to say that manga is doing better than comic books, even in North America.
Yeah, no, what I meant culture, I meant the reading part, like Eastern cultures, it's reading is still very prevalent as far as the culture goes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not necessarily manga versus American comics.
Well, all we do is read angry tweets over here. You know what I mean?
That's true.
So
if it's not under 200 characters, I'm not reading it, you know?
Amen, brother. Amen.
That's
any last minute things you want to talk about? I'm going to probably kick you out of here in just a second and then just do a little Q&A on my own. Anything else you want to say?
No, man. I'm good.
How good was Doc playing fucking Fall Guys yesterday, dude?
It was the most hilarious thing I've seen in a while on a gaming stream.
You and I got to play some Fall Guys soon.
Anytime. We'll hook it up. We'll be on. Well, you're gonna do it on PC, right? Because you don't have a PS4. So yes, it'll be easy. That's something we can play together. It will be hilarious. We definitely have to do it.
What is this word? This PS4? What is that? What PS4? What? I don't understand what that is, but I'll be getting it on PC and checking it out, and dude, it was so funny. Like, and we talked a little bit off air about this, but like, dude, when he did that first run and he got slammed by that windmill and he's just getting Bro, I'm rolling, dude. I'm fucking rolling. I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing content. You could not have asked for a more perfect first run of Fall Guys from the two-time. That was beautiful.
I know.
It was beautiful.
It was so funny. It was great.
All right, well, hey, look, what do you got going on the channel? I know you got big renovations going.
I know. I have renovations as well. And I gotta say, people, I'm not gonna give anything away, but I gotta Chet let me in to see some of the construction, and you guys are gonna be, the Nerdvenger stuff is gonna be choice. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
So thank you, Chet, for sneaking me in.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm doing a lot of renovations on my end too. So hopefully in the next few weeks, we got some good stuff coming, some new looks for sure.
It's gonna get real spicy. That's for sure. All right, my friend, I'm gonna let you go, and yeah, we'll talk soon. Okay.
All right, man.
All right, peace out. All right. Always good to chat with Adam. Let's see if I can get this set up more properly. Sorry. All right, there we go, and we'll get the chat back on the screen. And I just want to hang out and do a little Q&A, guys. I want to know what you guys are thinking. A lot of chatting was going down there, comics, industry stuff, all sorts of stuff. So let's just see what you guys want to chat about. We'll go 10, 15 more minutes. I also wanted to make just a small little announcement, and I think it's particularly important to those of you that are here now. And I mean, like, at the later side of the stream. I've decided that maybe starting around October, because October is like when this big revamp is going to happen, where, you know, the Den of Nerds is trying to have a lot of different things going on by October, because hopefully actual news starts happening in October. Holy shit, I can't stand 2020. The MCU just decided. Did you guys know we're like an MCU channel practically? Do you understand how difficult it has been when Feige just decided, well, I guess we'll take the year off? What the fuck? Do you know how difficult you've made it on me, Feige? Anyway. These streams, these morning streams here at Nerdvenger's Tower, maybe in the next couple of weeks, but for sure by October, 2-hour streams. Minimum. 2-hour streams. Minimum. We're going to be doing a lot of streaming. And CGM, I did see your super chat, and I totally appreciate it. Let me see if I can find it on this screen here. Yeah, some people are experiencing buffering here. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, man. I'm going to try to figure it out. And it does not show me the super chats on this screen. So YouTube decided earlier this week, too, there was a classic studio where you could stream from. It's what I was comfortable with. I liked it. I enjoyed that interface. And then they introduced a new interface, and they're like, here you go, start learning this. And then, like, at the beginning of this week, they killed the old way of doing it. And basically were like, hey, Josh, you freaking boomer, good luck, because your old way of doing things is gone. And so now you must do it this way. So, terrible. But I believe your super chat, CGM, was about Marvel Comics, and now that Feige is in charge, hopefully he can fix things up. And yeah, I think that's possible, man. It'll be really interesting to see what he does with all that. You know what I mean? So that's like 4 hours of not getting work done. Nice. Very nice. Adam is a better Fall Guy player than the two-time? Yeah, for sure. For sure. What will the Saturday's Nerdvenger stream be about? Stormy, on Saturday, I'm taking you guys on a tour of Nerdvenger's Tower. I'm going to show you the things we've been working on, the new facilities. The new facilities. And they're still under construction. They're going to be rolled out over time. Again, October is the big aiming point. But that's what we're doing on Saturday. We're gonna take a peek, man. He did actually win. Adam's right. He did actually win, and it was like amazing. And I was there. I was there when the two-time got his first win. It was awesome. I work nights, so I'm watching you guys before I sleep. LOL, I'll love 2-hour streams. Rock and roll, brother. Yeah. And I saw somebody say, are we doing new segments for the 2? Yeah, dude. We're gonna mix it up. Like, we're going to be 2 hours. We're going to be mixing up. We're going to throw some gaming in. You know? Throw some gaming in. Throw some interactive stuff with you guys in. We're going to be going to different parts of Nerdvengers Towers. Absolutely. It's going to be good. It's going to be real good. Guys, got any questions? Because we are in the Q&A. Drop your questions in. World Famous says, got here late. Is there an MCU connection or not? The short answer is kind of. Long answer is probably want to watch the beginning of the stream. And if you're a big Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fan, I hope you don't get too triggered about it. But my personal opinion is that no, the ending did not prove that it is connected. Throwing in some shit, shitting on clickbait channels. Yeah, no, we can absolutely throw that in there, man. Absolutely down to do such things. Good morning, Josh. What are your expectations coming out of DC Fandom? Surprises? Yeah, man, I'd love some surprises. I think DC Fandom is going to be lit, dude. Did you guys see the little video of Jim Lee doing all those sketches and designing DC Fandom? Likely that video was shot before he was almost fired. In fact, I think every video at DC Fandom is going to be pre-recorded, and this is all all these people getting fired. And so their expressions will be very happy, you know? Look, horrible, but also brilliant. Like, the Mr. Burns in me is like, excellent. We'll film them all before we fire them. Excellent. It's horrible. It's also brilliance. But yeah, Fandom's going to be lit, dude. What I'm most interested in with regards to DC Fandom is Batfleck. Squadrons? Yeah, when Squadrons come out? Scotty, when does it come out? When does it come out? But the thing I'm most interested in is about Batman. Is Batfleck in there or not? Is Batfleck in there or not? Because if he's not, I'm going to have to disavow the cultured nerd. 2-hour streams, different scenes. Indeed. $40 cross-platform across all platforms. Yeah. Yes. Josh, do you think the comics industry will make a comeback if there is great content out there in the next 5 years? It's going to be tough, man. It's going to be tough. I think comics had their chance. They had their chance to change it around and to adapt. They had their chance. I think there'll be a new comic industry that sort of springs out of this. That's just my opinion, though. Have you watched the Batman 2021 teaser? I have not, but I've read about what the trailer might be like, and it seems really cool. These extended streams, I may have to take Trinity's spot. I don't know what you mean, dude. shit, we broke Josh. You did. You did. You broke me. Oh, I saw a little bit of it, Danny. You know, you and Trev found each other. I think that's great. You know what I mean? I think that's great, and you're united in your absurd disliking of Zack Snyder. I think that's cool too. Josh, what amazes me about the two-time is the amount of money thrown his way. Yeah, no, I get that. I think it's a tough one to explain, and we can talk about it more on like a business stream or something like that. But you have to really think about value. You know what I mean? Like, you got to think about value. Getting shouted out to like 100,000+ people for sending in a chat. And look, obviously he can't get to them all. He's getting so much money thrown at him, it's ridiculous. Potentially there is ROI on that. You know what I mean? And people just love that dude, man. People just absolutely love that dude. And by the way, this Sunday, we're talking a lot about holy shit, dude. The stream is having trouble today. I apologize, guys. I'll work on it. I'm not sure what's going on. But you also have to understand that this dude has built a brand that is not just like, people aren't just fond of it. People are in love with it. They are passionate about it, right? And so you could say the same thing. It's like, why would people spend why would somebody spend $2,000 on an Apple laptop when they could get the same functionality from a Dell for like $600, right? Why? Well, it's market value, but it's also branding, and the branding does help create some of the market value. So we can break that down at some point, but to be honest with you, the amount of money that he gets thrown at him is completely reasonable, considering the market value of the brand and the stream. Put your Spider-Man hats on tonight on After Dark. You'll need them. Kendall Davis says, I think their only hope for like Marvel Comics is to make them tell the stories of the MCU. That'd make it more mainstream. I agree. I think that's a missed opportunity on Marvel's part. Danny says, Trev is actually a fan of Snyder, but even he admits it's almost entirely due to visual style. Hey, nothing wrong with that. Guys, we got to call it there. I apologize. I can see that some people are having troubles with the stream. We will figure that out. So that's going to do it for us today. Look out for a very interesting video on Ray Fisher later today. Look out for After Dark tonight. Oh, man. The boys have been working hard on After Dark. They're very excited to take you on a ride tonight. 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be absolutely lit. Make sure you are there if you are a Nerd Venger member. Tomorrow, watch party in the Nerd Vengers Tower, the theater. Come on in. Enjoy watching some Netflix with Bashti and potentially another host. It's going to be awesome. Saturday, stream at noon. Sunday, stream at noon. A lot of streams. We love you guys. Thank you so much for all the love, the support. For everyone here at the Den of Nerds, as I always say, I hope and I pray that you are having an awesome and a nerdy day. And I'll see you in the next video.